And now, to cap off the show, at long last, I finally got to. I didn't just get to see Dune. I got to see Dune in IMAX. And for all you that don't know what this is about, based on the classic novel by Frank Herbert, Dune follows a young ducal heir as his family is ambushed when assigned to govern a dangerous desert planet. The film was directed by Oscar nominee Denis Villeneuve, who's also done Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, and my personal favorite of his, Arrival. And the film stars Timothee Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, and Oscar Isaac. Now, again, this is a film that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. It was supposed to come out in October or December of last year. I think it was December of last year. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to come out. And, of course, it got, delayed due to COVID, like many other films of 2020. And I was so pissed. I was so fucking pissed when I found out that this movie was getting delayed about a year. But on the upside, it gave me more time to to read the book, which I hadn't done in a while before watching a movie that was based on a book, so that felt nice. And while it sucked that I had to wait another year longer to watch this film, after watching it, this is so worth the wait. Because honestly, this movie, in my opinion, is a win on every level. This is, without a doubt, one of, if not the best I can't talk. I almost said best picture. This is one of the best films of the year. I'm stunned by what I saw last night.
Yeah, and to correct you, Joe, yes, you did see it, but we saw it. We got together to see this shit in IMAX.
yeah, that's fair. Had a nice trip out to Stony Brook.
But yeah, I'm in the same. Like, typically, I do read the book before I watch the movie. I just didn't have time this time. But even me not going in completely knowledgeable as far as the source material in the book and having fully read that, me personally, again, you also have, like Denis Villeneuve, I love him too. I love Arrival. I love Sicario. I really like his style and how he tells his story. So going in, I was already excited just from the trailers alone. This felt epic. This felt just surreal. And throughout the movie, I was awake the entire time. The best thing I can describe this movie, it is dense as far as story and just narratively and lore and history, as well as epic on a visual scale that reminds me things like Lord of the Rings and just those epic wide shots and pictures that you normally see. To me, every shot was like a freaking painting, and it was just beautiful watching it. And the sound design of the machines, it felt I was actually in this world, and I was in with these characters, and I felt definitely certain character moments throughout the film. And the music by Hans Zimmer is just top notch. It was just a fantastic. This is why movie theaters exist. I think this movie really shows as far as why you go to a theater, why you see it in IMAX, why you see it in these different formats, and it was just spectacular across the entire board for me.
Yep, and again, I'm happy that you said the note about seeing this in theaters, because this is also streaming simultaneously on HBO Max, and I'm going to be honest, this is not something you should watch for the first time on HBO Max at home. You need to see this on the biggest screen possible, because the small screen can't fully appreciate the epic scale of this film. This movie is just massive in every sense of the word. It's very ambitious. There's a lot going on a technical end of things, on a narrative and emotional end of things. This starting off on the visual end of things too. I remember thinking to myself throughout the film, just being blown away by every image, and I'm thinking to myself oh my god, this is how far we've come with technical and visual filmmaking. This is where we are. This in itself feels like a landmark. I remember, when Avatar came out over a decade ago, that movie was a landmark in the visual departments, and again, just as far as what we could do with movies. Titanic before that, Lord of the Rings, around that same time, Jurassic Park, you go on and on and on throughout history, Star Wars, this movie feels like that sort of moment. And again, I think that definitely helps bring me into the film as well. Again, like the mark, and again, I've said this before on this show too, and I'll continue to say this as long as I talk about movies. The mark of a truly great job directing is when you feel like you're in the world of the film. And I felt like the entire time, the entire 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 35 minutes, I was part of this world again, but because of the visuals, because of the sound, because of the emotion. Denis Villeneuve did, he used every asset that he could to bring me in. This is easily the biggest movie that he's ever done. And honestly, it may or may not be my favorite movie from him now. I really got to think about this a bit more, but this is without a doubt the biggest film that he's ever done. Because again, from everything that I just said, from all the lore and the world building, there's just so much that can be used to bring you in, and he uses every single thing that he can to bring you in. One thing I will say though, as far as like the lore and the world building, like we've been talking about, it might be a little hard to follow certain things if you didn't read the book. That I will say. But in terms of like a narrative structure too, I remember having a conversation with someone recently on a job that I was on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about like film and writing or whatnot, and I said something along the lines of like writing is when you're invested and whatnot, and like what's going on and who it's happening to, and he said something along the lines of writing is really good for a film when you feel like it's happening to you. And I felt that, again, throughout the entire runtime of the film. Every bit of despair, every bit of tension, I felt like that was happening to me. There comes a point where, like, shit really hits the fan, and I'm like, oh, man, like, this is fucking, like, this is serious, like, this is fucking real. But, like, no, I felt like this movie had just so much going for it. And now, again, something else to keep in mind as well, this is a part one. Again, it's obvious about that from the beginning when the title says Dune, Part 1. And it definitely feels like that. It definitely left me wanting more, but not in a bad way. Like, I was still satisfied with what I got. Because, again, like, this still works well as a film on its own. Because it definitely, again, has that narrative structure. It has that climax. And it has that send-off and resolution that leaves you wanting more. And again, after reading the book too, I remember thinking to myself, like, this is how the movie feels like it should be.
Yeah, like, for me, again, and you were talking about how, like, if you didn't read the book, it might be hard to follow. I think, to a certain degree, that is true. As well as the movie, I think this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, mainly the beginning, because it is a very slow-paced movie. But it is for a reason. Because it's so dense and full of just stuff you want to pay attention to visually. You want to hear everything. And so for me...
And epic, too.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, even though I haven't read the book, I actually thought I was following it pretty well. I was like, okay, this seems like... And I think this is mainly because, at least for me personally, this might be the sci-fi fan in me. I kind of just piece certain things from other pieces of science fiction works. I was like, oh, okay, this is that. That's that. And I was asking you questions a bit afterwards just to make sure I was on the right page. And it seems like I was. So, but yeah, so like this movie overall, it was, if anything, if I do have one gripe with it, and this was, as we're watching it, I do find some of the transitions very abrupt. Especially visually, because you will be in one area that is tonally and visually different, then all of a sudden the screen lightens up, and I'm just like, okay, that was a bit much. And then they kind of do it back and forth pretty quickly, so it's like it wants you to settle into one look, and then all of a sudden they want you to be like, oh, are you awake? Good. Here's another scene that's a bit more, that's brighter and everything. And I was just like, oh, god dang. And they did it quite often. Where, to me, I was just like, this is kind of getting annoying, mainly because it was happening a bit quicker and too quickly, and not letting me settle in, only on certain points. That's really the biggest, the only complaint I could think of at this moment, as far as the film and my first viewing, and my opinion and everything. But other than that, Denis, like you said, Denis Villeneuve used everything to his advantage, and I think this movie also shows the evolution of how he interpreted and utilized sound in Arrival and up the ante in it in this one, because Arrival was very language based. It was a movie of dissecting language, and communicating. Love it. Where this one, it was like, okay, he knew what he was doing in Arrival, took those audio cues and everything, and just upped the goddamn ante in this one. He just upped everything. So for me, the sci-fi fan in me loved it. I want to read the book now. I'm very happy I saw it in IMAX. I'm very happy. More importantly, I'm happy I was able to see it with a bunch of friends, and we all got to talk about it afterwards. Again, and how we all pretty much were on the same page, enjoying the movie and discussing it. Because that's the great thing about movie theaters. And Dune, I think, really encapsulates why we still need theaters, even if we have the streaming stuff. This is the movie that perfectly encapsulates everything of what's great with cinema.
Yeah, and again, I'm in the same exact boat as you. And again, this movie not only encapsulates the movie theater experience, I feel like it encapsulates the movie making process. Like, after watching this film, a film like this makes me want to make films even more. Because again, this movie is just spectacular on every single level, from a technical level, from an emotional level, to a storytelling level, just on every freaking level. This movie gets it right. As far as the transitions, I remember that was another thing that we were talking about. I honestly didn't have an issue with that. But again, just everything else, like performances across the board, great cast, was used very well. Hans Zimmer, honestly, in my opinion, he's the best living film composer today. I know a lot of people are going to say John Williams, and obviously he's given us a lot of iconic sounds too. He's given us a lot of iconic themes. Hans Zimmer will always be my favorite. From The Lion King to Inception, and again, Dune is no exception to any of this. So again, this is just another movie that has everything right, that has everything going for it. This feels like the Lord of the Rings of our time.
Exactly. And for me, honestly, I think looking back from all the movies we've seen and I have seen within the past 5 years, this is probably one of my favorite freaking movies I've ever seen so far. In the past 3 years, 3 to 5 years. This is probably one, more than the comic book stuff I love and other things. This movie is probably one of my favorites right now, and I freaking love everything.
Yeah, and again, just something epic like this. Like, this is probably, honestly, I can't imagine something on a bigger scale coming out this year, right? Unless my memory is escaping me. Maybe Eternals or something like that, because I'm hearing a lot about that film as well. But something as epic and ambitious as this, as spectacular as this on every single level, I can't imagine anything else beating this for 2021. And again, maybe I'm wrong. It's still October. A lot of great movies are, supposed to be coming out from now to the end of the year. But just something quite like this, I don't think anything else this year, or really for many years to come, is going to be able to mimic this.
Mm-hmm. And I also will want to say this about Dune. As much as I loved it and I liked how it was a part one, I am worried about it as far as its box office performance, because it was a simultaneous release on HBO Max. Know people are gonna pirate it, maybe watch it on HBO Max in general, and
it's already been leaked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's unfortunate, because this is just such a beautifully lit movie. Sounded amazing. It felt enthralling, from the score to the eeriness of even one of the villains, the enemies. It encapsulated almost all why I love sci-fi as one of my favorite genres, and why I love writing sci-fi. This really does it, and it's unfortunate. To me, it's an HBO Max simultaneous release, because it's like, I don't see you obviously you actually can't see it at home, but to really be immersed in this, I highly recommend Dolby Cinema, IMAX, the best of the best theaters to see this film in. If anything, rewatch it on HBO Max. I have a feeling people will rewatch this movie because of how dense it is and just how much information is there. But regardless, absolutely stunning, amazing, loved it. And I'm telling you, even though it was a simultaneous release on HBO Max, if for any reason Venom Let There Be Carnage outperform this, I'm gonna have a problem.
Yeah, really. Like, and again, like, the fact that there's honestly, with the fact that this is going to be on HBO Max too, there's a very strong chance that Venom Let There Be Carnage could outperform Dune, which, again, I'm going to be honest, like, you and I are on the same page. Dune obviously deserves to do much better than Venom Let There Be Carnage. But again, like, the fact that so many films have gotten that simultaneous, at home and theatrical release, I'm going to be honest, with Dune in particular, I think that's going to go down as a very, very bad decision. I hope I'm wrong, but
same here.
I just don't understand. Yeah, I just don't understand, like, why you wouldn't want to go to the theater, to the biggest screen that you can, to see something as big as this. Like you said, to build on your point, movies like this are the reason we go to the movies.
Hell yeah.
Well said. So yeah, again, just in closing, like, this is definitely worth the 2 hours and 35 minutes. This is worth the drive out that, we took to Stony Brook. I can say that a little easier because I wasn't driving, but still, I think it was worth the ride. And again, for all you guys that are still with us, what did you think of Dune? Did it leave you wanting more? Were you satisfied with what we've got so far? Comment wherever it is that you can.